everyone. This is Dr. Jennifer Levin from Grief to Growth. And it's so hard to believe that it is the end of summer and the kids are back to school. So I'm here today with a Facebook Live. I'm tuning in from Whidbey Island in Washington State. And we've had a glorious last month of summer, and it's going to be winding up here soon. I hope that things are starting to cool down for you wherever you are and that the summer has gone really well. So let's address today back to school and what that's like. And perhaps you are experiencing some grief right now and you're wondering why. Maybe the kids have gone back to school already. I know my family's in California. All the kids have gone back to school. They go back in mid-August. When I was growing up in California, we didn't start until after Labor Day. But then over the last maybe 5 or 7 years, they've slowly moved the school year back. And now the kids start in mid-August when it's super hot. Now I live in Washington State and the kids don't start until after Labor Day. And I'm old-fashioned and I think it should be that way. But everybody is different. So no matter where you are, summer is definitely coming to an end, although the heat may not be feeling that way yet. But summer's coming to an end, and there may be some sadness associated with that, but it's definitely back to school time. And you may be experiencing some grief and wondering why. Well, first of all, back to school brings back a lot of changes with it. Perhaps you've had some changes in your family this summer. Maybe you've experienced the death of a parent, a grandparent, a friend, a family pet. And that can be really hard for the kids to go back to school with these transitions, especially if their family is no longer intact. Children experience grief when or they're hit hardest with grief whenever there's a milestone. And back to school is a big milestone. It's a big change for them. And when their family is not intact or there's been a change, they're going to feel it. If there's been a change in the family and you as a parent are experiencing grief, it's going to be really hard for you because you're not going to be able you're not going to be full cylinder right now, and grief is going to be hitting you hard. So back to school is going to be very difficult. There may also be changes in schools right now. I work with schools after sudden death and loss. I've worked with many schools, especially during COVID. We've had teachers die, we've had principals die, we've had students die, whether it's been from COVID, whether it's been from other losses or illnesses. There's even non-death changes that have occurred. COVID's changed the structure of schools altogether and how we teach and how our kids learn. And so this environment has made the school a very different place for a lot of the kids. And especially if there has been a death and a favorite teacher is no longer there, maybe they even retired. But it's changed the school environment for kids. And so back to school may not have the same feelings that it once did. And kids might be anxious. They might feel that the school is no longer the place that it once used to be. Maybe friends graduated or transitioned to another school. And so back to school may just be bringing a heaviness. Hopefully, it's bringing some excitement, but maybe not. And so, grief has other feelings associated of loss, even when there's not a death that's occurred. So that's something that you want to be on the lookout as well. So, what do you do with these feelings of grief or loss that are coming about as back to school occurs, even though there might be excitement mixed in with it? Well, first, you want to acknowledge and you want to talk about it with your kids. You want to acknowledge how you're feeling, but you want to acknowledge how your kids are feeling and validate their concerns. Talk about the excitement, talk about the joy, but also talk about any changes that they're feeling nervous about, that they're feeling worried about, things that are going to be different for them, and talk about a plan on how they're going to deal with those changes. Check in with them frequently, see how they're doing with the transition. If you're worried about something, make sure you check in with the school, see what resources they have for support. And of course, if there's a big concern, make sure you check out professional support. Now, if you don't have kids or your kids are grown, don't be surprised if you're still feeling back to school feelings. My son is grown living on the East Coast, but I'm still very aware of the back to school feelings because it signifies changes in time, signifies loved ones who are no longer here, that life is moving on even without them. Changes in seasons. Summer's about to end. We're going to be moving on to the fall and then come the holidays. So, whether or not you have kids that are school age, back to school is just it's a time of the year. It's a time of change for all of us. And so, grief may be a feeling that may be present for you right now, even if you don't have school age kids. Now, those of you who know me, who've listened to me before, know that the next thing that it's coming is a talk about self care. Because self care is not an optional part of taking care of yourself or actually getting through grief. It's mandatory, it's essential. There's no way you're going to be able to get through any type of grief, especially a sudden loss, if you're not taking care of yourself. And you also know by now that when I talk about self care, it means addressing your physical needs. It means addressing your emotional, psychosocial needs. It means addressing your intellectual needs, your spiritual needs, and your grief needs. It means taking a time out for yourself and hopefully on a daily basis to care for yourself so that you can care for others and doing something that replenishes you so that you can then address your day-to-day tasks and take care of what you need to get through. Grief is such a challenge. It's a challenge. It taxes us on so many levels, and it takes a lot to be able to get through the day. And unless you're taking care of yourself, unless you have compassion for yourself, you're not going to be able to get through what you need to get through. So I hope this brought light to some of the feelings that might be going on for you right now as the summer ends and we're heading back to school. I wanted to let you know my next podcast is going to be called But I Don't Want to Accept It. And it's going to be on Wednesday, September 7th. As always, please go to my website. I invite you to sign up for my free course, my mini course, Three Truths for Living with a Sudden Loss. I wish you best right now. Take care of yourself. Tune in on Friday, 5:15 for weekend planning. Take care and bye for now.